Hello everyone, Monty here, and today I'm going to talk about the many different types of flour and some of their calories. You know, I always tell you that I get my inspiration for chats about something I'm thinking about, or something that happens during the day, and last night I was researching flour because I'm starting to get overwhelmed with all the different types of flour. And it all started because I'm starting to make the 2-ingredient bagels, which I make them, the 3 ingredients, and that same dough you use for pizza dough, but you may use a different flour. It's just an equal mixture of flour, 1 cup of flour to 1 cup of yogurt. It's got to be Greek, firm, non-fat yogurt. And then if you're not using self-rising flour, that's 2 ingredients. If it is self-rising flour, but I never buy self-rising flour. So if it's not self-rising flour, you got to add baking powder. So it's 1 cup of flour, whichever kind of flour you like, and we'll talk about a lot of different kinds today, to 1 cup of Greek non-fat yogurt, very firm Greek non-fat yogurt. You would not believe how many times people said, "Oh, Monty, it didn't come out," and then I was talking to them for a while and found out they didn't use the firm non-fat Greek yogurt, and that's why it didn't turn out right. So remember that. And then 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and that's the dough. And I have a video on my Instagram page, how to make the dough, several of them actually, and I also have it on my YouTube channel. You know, I have to probably put it up there tonight. It's probably not up there yet, but it will be on my YouTube channel. Just give me a couple of days. And the one thing I do want to offer a warning, I stopped making the 2-ingredient or 3-ingredient dough and bagels and pizza because I started eating too much of it because I have a slightly obsessive personality, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm eating all this carbs now, and hopefully I won't gain weight. But so far I'm doing well. I've lost 5 pounds of that, like 15 that I wanted to lose. So actually it was like 13, so I got about 7 or 8 pounds more to go to my goal weight, which is my lowest weight ever. And so I'm gonna really try to watch what I'm doing, but I really am obsessing with making all this stuff. I'm finding it really fun to create new recipes. I made, which I didn't post, I want to perfect the recipe though, I made chocolate banana bagels the other day. I did post my strawberry almond bagels that were just strawberry walnut bagels, out of this world. I've made whole wheat bagels with the bread flour, which were really, really great. But here I'm going to say something to you. So people who are creative like me are very volatile and they get upset easily over certain things. Because I've known a lot of people, artists, we have very similar personalities. And I gotta tell you, the one thing I hate is when people start asking me a lot of questions like, well, does it taste good? And I get the question, does it taste good? I'm like, would I be posting something if it tastes like crap, right? And who cares what I think something tastes like, right? We all have different tastes. My mother and I have such different tastes. She doesn't like maybe a third of what I make, and everything else she loves. Debbie, my neighbor, my new BFF, she doesn't like a lot of the stuff I make, which I'm surprised, right? So, I mean, we all have different tastes, and I don't even know you. And even people I know, like my mother and Debbie, I don't even know what they're gonna like. I'm shocked sometimes thinking they're gonna hate something based upon what they didn't like or liked before, and they're like, oh, I loved it. I'm like, I can't figure this out. I have no idea what they're gonna like. So please don't ask me like a million questions. What is it? Does it taste good? What's the texture? What's the texture like? I don't have time to answer the questions. I'm so busy with work. I'm working 12, 14 hours a day. I have zero time. So I would appreciate, just try it. It's not that expensive. Try it. Okay, just try all different kinds of flours. Find out what you like, because who cares what I think. So what I'm learning is the calories vary so differently. And I'm going to show you that through all the different types of flour. And there's different types of flour for different things. I'm just learning. I tell you guys this all the time. I have never taken a cooking class. I did watch my friend who owned a restaurant years ago in the kitchen, and I learned a lot. She had a business partner, so I watched her business partner chop vegetables and stuff like that. And I tend to watch her when she was cooking and putting in ingredients. She used to call herself a saucier, and I used to watch her throw ingredients in. But I've never taken a cooking class. And everything I've learned, I've pretty much learned from YouTube or Googling or somebody's recipe, and I always change it. I look over the internet for recipes, I Google stuff, and then I call Monty-ize them, try to make them low calorie with all natural ingredients. I just start substituting, taking out the bad stuff and putting in the good stuff. So I urge you guys to play around, come up with your own recipes. I know a lot of you do that. I'm really impressed with some of the things you guys take one of my recipes, you change. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna try that. So let's start off with, what type of flour is good for what? So let's start out with the all-purpose flour. The King Arthur flour is a flour that most people like. You can find it at almost every supermarket. I know Lucky's carries it, Whole Foods carries it. You can And all of these you can buy on Amazon. If you see you can't find it in your store, go to Amazon. If you don't have an Amazon account, you can't afford the, what is it, $125 now for Amazon Prime, try to find a friend, order it with them, or a friend who can use your account. I know a lot of people that do that. So the all-purpose flour is supposed to be the best for the pizza. Now remember, the dough can be used for pizza, for the bagels and the pizza, but the recipe, you just substitute the flour. So it's still 1 cup of flour to 1 cup of yogurt and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. You would just switch out, to make the dough the same, you would just switch out the flour for the pizza. So let's say you're making pizza, you're gonna wanna use the all-purpose flour. Everybody says that's like the second best. Everybody says it's the best on the internet, except when you really search the experts in pizza. I just found out yesterday, because I was researching all this, that the Caputo 00 flour from Italy is the primo flour. It's supposed to be ground really fine from Italy, and I just ordered some on Amazon. I always go to Amazon, that's what I do right away. I go to Amazon, I bought 2 pounds of it. It'll be here in a couple of days, and I can't wait to make a pizza with this flour to see, does it really make a better pizza, right? And then another thing I was hearing when I was doing my research about pizza, they said if you want your crust to be really interesting, why not throw in some oregano, some garlic powder, some spices. You can put any kind of fresh herb in there that you'd like into the crust. So I'm gonna try that too. I love basil, so the basil sounded really interesting. One said rosemary. I mean, you could put all kinds of stuff in the dough. Remember, if you don't have access to the Caputo 00, which I'm gonna try and I'll give you a review on it, you're best with like an all-purpose, flour like this. As you can see, this is unbleached organic. You don't have to do the unbleached organic if you want. You can just do the regular. But I've had good luck with the pizza with this flour, and they said that would be the best to use. All right. And the calories for this are 440 calories a cup. So when you add the yogurt in for another 100, let's say 100, it depends on what kind of yogurt you use. One yogurt's like 120 calories a cup, another one's 133. The Fage versus the Siggi's. You always have to check the calories. Just because it's non-fat yogurt does not mean it's gonna be the same. And just because it's all-purpose flour versus another all-purpose flour, the calories may be different. Typically, they're not that different with the flour unless it's a different type of flour, but we'll go through that. So this all-purpose flour is 110 calories for 1/4 of a cup, which makes it 440 calories. And that's before you add the yogurt and before you add the cheese. So the pizzas are gonna be like 700 and something calories once you put some cheese and tomato sauce. Before you even put any meat on there, it could be 800 and something calories. However, a 14-inch pizza, and I make a 13, is like 2,200 calories. So a 13-inch pizza is gonna be at least 1,800 to 2,000 calories. So you're less than half the calories by making it the way I make it, all right? The next one we're gonna talk about is whole wheat pastry flour. I've had good success using that with bagels, and that's very similar to the all-purpose flour as far as the calories. It's 100 calories a 1/4 cup or 400 calories a cup. But I'm not gonna use the pastry flour too much because I don't make pastries. And now that I'm reading the bagels, you should use like a high protein bread flour for the bagels. And for the pizza, you're supposed to use all-purpose flour, so I'm not gonna be using the pastry flour anymore. I'll use this up, I won't waste it, I'll use it, and then I'll be done with it. And then, let's see, what else do we wanna talk about? This is all, I just wanna make sure okay. So then, all right, so we can talk about, the next one would be organic, well, let's talk organic oat flour. Now I bought this as the Arrowhead Mills, which is also available at a lot of supermarkets, Whole Foods, you can buy it online. This one's a lot less calories. It's 110 calories for 1/3 of a cup, which make it 330 calories for a cup. So this is gonna be a lot less. I made a waffle with it. I haven't made bagels yet or pizza. I wanna try this and see how it is, so I can't really tell you. I can't tell you about the taste because I haven't tasted it yet. But I like the fact that it's less calories. Anything that's gonna be less calories for the bagels or the pizza, I'm all about. I remembered I did like the taste in the waffle, but I'm weird, I like weird stuff, right? So that's less calories. Now, organic bread flour, I read, is the best for the bagels, right? It's the best. So this one is what was this? War Eagle Mill, I bought this at Whole Foods. It's organic whole wheat bread flour. And the bread flour is chewier, right? So I would say that, and I'm missing a bag here. I got another bag of regular whole wheat flour. But this is, again, this is 330 calories for this organic unbleached bread flour, right? But the whole wheat is more. So this one was really good. This was a nice chewy bagel. But this is not whole wheat. This is unbleached bread flour, just white, and I don't really like eating the white. I feel guilty because remember, I always talk about how white flour is made. They take the wheat, they take out the bran and the germ, which has all the fiber, all the nutrients, and they just leave you with the white fluffy stuff which is devoid of nutrition. So, and it turns to sugar in your system immediately because there's no fiber to do the slow release in your system. So it could make you fatter quicker than whole wheat flour, right? So, but again, it's less calories. It's 330 calories. It makes a great bagel, And then I'm forgetting. Let me go grab it because I'm forgetting the other flour. It's in the other room. So this flour I bought, which is Food to Live, which I bought, it's the organic whole wheat bread flour, but it's 500 calories a cup. That's before the yogurt, before the cheese, before the tomato sauce if you're making the pizza dough, but if you're making the bagels, it's not that bad. And I do notice that the bread flour is chewier, and that's what they say, it's more higher in protein. They say that breads and bagels taste better with a bread flour, and this is a whole wheat one. And most of you may not like this, and I will say this, if you don't like a chewy, grainy bagel, you don't want to make a whole wheat bagel or whole wheat, pizza. The pizza crust, I got to tell you, I'm not loving it so much with the whole wheat flour, but the bagels, I'm loving it. But then again, I like a very chewy, grainy kind of flour. So that's the most calories because it's higher in protein, more calories. I don't know, it's crazy. Now this one I bought, which is lower in calories, this one I bought the other day, and this is 100 calories for a third cup, so it's 300 calories. And this picture reminded me with the bread of I don't know why it reminded me of the muesli rolls, and I'm obsessed with the muesli rolls, and I made, these bagels with the strawberry and walnut, and I used this flour. So this is a lot less calories, 300 versus 400 and 500, right? And it's whole wheat, and it's organic, and it's not as grainy as this one is. The whole wheat flour, stone ground, was very grainy, and the bagels were like bricks. So this one I would tell you, do not use. Do not use a whole wheat stone ground. It's too gritty, the bagels, you could throw it at somebody and hurt them. I mean, that's what the bagels were like. I did not like this at all. I'll probably use it in a waffle, but I'm not gonna use this in any kind of bread or roll again. I just found it was not, or maybe you could mix it with some white flour if you wanted to. I've done that before, but I'm gonna try and use this up creatively somehow, but would not recommend stone ground one. And then this Jovial, I bought at Whole Foods. Do you buy it online too? Love this. This reminds me of the muesli rolls, and I'm gonna make some rolls tonight, but the muesli has something sweet in it, like dates. One date is 60 calories, so I'm not gonna do that. I got some raisins. My friend Debbie picked me up some raisins, 'cause I don't have a car. I got into a car accident. My car, I think, is totaled. I don't know, I'll find out. So I'm not gonna get a rented car for a couple of days because I don't go anywhere. I'll wait till the weekend to get the car. And she got me some raisins today. I'm gonna try raisins instead of dates. I'm gonna put some walnuts in, and I think I'm gonna use this flour today, and again, because it was delicious. Loved it, made some great bagels with it. And it kind of reminded me of that muesli. It was I can't explain it, grainy, but not too grainy like the Arrowhead Mills. And last, I'd like to talk about buckwheat flour. And I don't like to talk about what people will like because I don't know you. When people ask me, do you think I like it? I'm like, I don't even know who you are. There's no picture on your profile. You're not a man, you're not a woman. Most of the time when these people ask me, I don't know you. How am I gonna know your taste, know what you like? But I will tell you, buckwheat flour has a very strange taste, and it's gluten-free. So is the oat flour, by the way, right? Buckwheat flour is gluten-free. It's 100 calories, a quarter cup, so it's 400 calories. So it's higher in calories on the high side. But I love the taste of buckwheat, but I could see how somebody would not like it. Very, very strong, distinct, different flavor. So it's a crapshoot with this one. I would say it's 50-50-50, and you would either love it or hate it. You may hate it. So be careful with this one, but again, 100 calories. Well, we're running out of time, but I hope you want to see that you just have to do your research. You have to use your calculator anytime you use any kind of flour. You just can't assume that a quarter cup of flour is going to be 100 calories, or it's going to, you just can't make any assumptions. And I'm also going to order some semolina flour. That's also a more little grainy flour, and it's great in breads. But I read last night that it's very high in gluten. So if you're gluten intolerant, stay away from semolina. But I love the taste of semolina flour. Anyway, we're out of time. Hope you enjoyed this chat. I'm finding it interesting about all these flours, and I'll be talking to you soon, hopefully.